What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Great Black Speakers Podcast, where we connect through conversation. I am your host, Lawrence Watkins. I am the founder and CEO of Great Black Speakers Bureau. I'm also the president and chief operating officer of the Black Business School. So today we have a very special guest. It's actually her second time being on the show. We're here with Ms. Tai Goodwin, and Tai is the founder and CEO of the Momentum Agency, a marketing agency that specializes in sales funnels and quiz funnels. And you can find out more about her at profitmomentum.com. That is profitmomentum.com. And today we're talking about how Black celebrities can keep from being canceled. So, Tai, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic, Lawrence, and I'm excited to have this conversation.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you here today. And yeah, so, I wanted to have you back on because recently, just what's been going on in the news with, people like Nick Cannon and also Tamar Braxton. We've covered it quite a bit on this channel and other channels that we're affiliated with. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit more in terms of, I guess, celebrities and, some of these celebrities that we thought had all this power and control over their own lives and their own futures. They are either coming out with some mental health issues or getting fired from their jobs and that type of
Mm.
thing. And I just wanted to talk to you about it from a business perspective on how celebrities, but then also this applies to business owners as well, can avoid I guess that situation of actually being canceled. But even before we get into all that, can you tell the audience or remind the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure, I am a former employpreneur. I launched my business while working full time. Right now, I run my company full time, and what we get to do is help people who are brilliant at what they do, but they don't like the marketing side of things so much. We get to take that off their plate, and we have done for you marketing and done with you marketing that helps them generate leads for their businesses.
Got you, got you. So, what are you seeing? So, for those who don't know, I don't know who would know at this point in time, but Nick Cannon was fired from CBS Viacom, or
Mhm.
Viacom CBS recently, for supposedly anti-Semitic statements. I don't want to get into any of that. I personally don't agree with what Nick said, but I know there are many in the community that do, in which he had the platform to talk how he, saw fit. And the other examples was with Tamar Braxton this weekend or last week too, who wrote a letter. And in the letter, she was stating to WeTV, who airs Braxton Family Values, that they destroyed a Black family, a strong, independent, and successful Black family through, I guess, the use of the program, and something that she thought was going to be a beacon of light, for young Black children everywhere, especially young Black women and girls, turned out to be something that ruined her family and that she can't really escape from. And she said this, a couple of weeks before she had her, recent suicide attempt. So let's talk about that a little bit. And from a business perspective, what could have happened for them to avoid the situation to begin with?
Wow, such a great question, and it's something that we've seen like over and over again in our community. To me, it boils down to the difference between being monetized, right, by somebody other than yourself, and then being able to monetize. And now, the first word I said had a D on the end, right? And so when other people are kind of monetizing you, like we've seen it forever in sports, right? There is oh gosh, what's the name of the book where it talks about what is it, the $40,000 slave or something
Yeah,
like
$40
that?
million slave.
40,
Uh-huh.
exactly, right. Where people have taken our skills and our talents and monetized it, but we didn't necessarily have control over it. And it looks good on the outside because like we want the credibility and we want the celebrity of those platforms, right? Because who doesn't want to be contacted or put on by WeTV? Who doesn't want to be picked up by CBS or Viacom? Who doesn't want to have that spotlight? But on the other side of it, are you protecting the people that are now following you? Like, are you protecting your audience? Because at the end of the day, that's what we really want to build. But if you just go after the celebrity without putting the things in place to protect the audience that you're creating, that's when it seems like the trouble comes into place because you literally find out that you have no control.
Yeah, and talk about that a little bit more in terms of, I guess, the importance of control. the control of, I guess, your audience and the people who follow you, because
Mhm.
Viacom basically came in and swept Nick Cannon off of the airs, and swept the rug from out from underneath him, and he was talking tough for the first 30 minutes or so, but then eventually came back when he knew that he was had millions of dollars on the line to lose. So talk
Mhm.
about that from a platform and monetization like engine standpoint, in terms of like, how did Viacom really build what they built, or how
Mhm.
can someone in a celebrity type of position or business owner type of position can build something strong that is actually monetizing their own worth.
Yeah, you know what it made me think a lot about? It made me think about how we started seeing a lot of celebrities move into being producers, right? Like it used to be just enough that, oh, I got a movie, I'm a star, and now, I'm going to have my name all over the place. But at some point, we started getting really smart and saying, no, we don't just want to be on the screen. We want to be listed as a producer, right? Because we want to get that part of the monetization and not just be monetized for what we're doing on the stage. And in this arena, I don't think we've gotten to that place yet, right? Because we are just contributing to somebody else's platform without us actually building our own or having it contribute to our platform. So in both of those cases, like what did you have going on outside of those platforms that would have allowed you to address your audience and build and nurture your audience and really, control the narrative, a little bit more. And I think a lot of that has to do with how you negotiate things up front, right? But it also has to do with you understanding how it works. Like, do you have a list? And that's where we come in when we talk about building an email list. Do you have a list that you own? And I'll break it down even more outside of, the media and a website. We get caught up in a lot with social media. If Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, all those places that we love spending time, we love being visible there. But if they were to change their policy tomorrow, if they were to go out tomorrow, would you still have access to your audience? Or would you be completely cut off? And if you don't have an email list, you really are going to be cut off. And it's a really harrowing place to realize that you don't have any way to connect to those people. You don't have any lifeline to those people if something happens to those platforms.
Yeah, no, I mean, I 100% agree with you on that particular front, and it seems like actually, you know, our next step actually is, to become more producers, producers of our content, own the ownership of our content. But what you see in the marketplace actually is that the companies with the biggest valuations, they've learned how to monetize and also distribute to very very wide audiences. So I think of things like Netflix. You have Disney Plus is coming out. All of these streaming services from a content perspective, and they're monetizing $14.99 a month for access to the content that they either license, but most of them are vertically integrating right now, so that they actually own their content as well. And
Yeah.
for small businesses, I look at email lists as its own form of distribution. So getting in where that value is being created right now in terms of having a large audience and large distribution that you control, and the audience that you have a relationship with as well. So what do you think about that in terms of where the world is going as it relates to, I guess, the uh, ownership, or the ownership of the relationship of your audience?
Well, absolutely. It's that list, and it's not just the mechanics of it, right? Like we got to have a platform, or you have to have an opt-in, you have to have all these technical pieces. It really is about knowing who your audience is and where to find them and how to stay connected to them. Distribution is one of the things that a lot of people have a problem with when it comes to business. Like I see people with these great ideas. Not only do they have great ideas, they can be super talented at what they do, but because they don't know how to get in front of the right people, they really really miss it. And that's where those other platforms that somebody else owns come in, because we do talk about that, right? We talk about the three different ways to build your audience, right? You can buy it, or like with like paid ads. You can do it organically, and that's what we do a lot with Facebook. And we just like each other's post, and we like each other, we follow each other on Instagram and all that. That's organic. And then you have the leverage, where you leverage someone else's audience, right? Because they've already got a platform, and all you have to do is show up and be brilliant and then you get access to their audience. And that will work for a time until they're either tired of you, right? Or until, something else happens. And then you really are like kind of out of on your own, unless you have now figured out, okay, I need my own platform, I need my own space. And it doesn't mean that it has to be super, super big. It just has to really be niched well, and you really have to make sure that you are in the right space to attract those people that you want to work with, especially as entrepreneurs. I always say this when folks say, well, everybody can use my product and everybody can use my service. Well, that's great. But unless you have money to market to everybody, that really, really doesn't matter. The goal of marketing and even the goal of these platforms is to get you in the right room so that the people that you're talking to are going to be attracted to you, and then you're building that relationship with them. So yes, leverage the platforms, but also recognize that you have to do the work of owning a space where you have the control of that narrative, you have the relationship with that audience, and you are able to nurture and build that yourself.
All right, Tai Goodwin is over here dropping knowledge. So today we're talking about how Black celebrities can keep from getting canceled. Please go ahead and make sure that you like this video, share, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel if you would like to receive more Black financial content, like the content we're producing today here with Tai. As a reminder, Tai is the founder and CEO of the Momentum Agency, a marketing agency that specializes in sales funnels and quiz funnels. So please make sure you check her out at profitmomentum.com. That is profitmomentum.com. All right, Ty, before we get into some nuts and bolts, I want to, I guess, because you're right in regards to, you mentioned the three things. So what were the three things again?
About how to get traffic.
Yeah, how to get traffic.
Yeah, so there's paid traffic, which is like all
So
your Facebook
paid.
ads and Google ads. There is organic, where you're like literally going from group or to person, reaching out and making connections. And then there's leverage, where you actually get the opportunity to be in front of somebody else's audience.
Right. And, I call it the leverage, the leverage platform or the leverage piece exposure. And I guess in our models with, Black Experts Empire. And I want to start there because that's where these celebrities are. Right. And like
Mhm.
entertainers. And that's where people love to be. Like whenever I talk to an expert or a business owner, like, oh, I was featured in so-and-so magazine, or I was featured on CNN or Fox News or MSNBC, or, I spoke at this university or whatever it might be. Right. And, we talked about, I guess, the peril of that. Like, it's good. It feels great to have that recognition from everyone. But to me, that's the area of the three that you mentioned that you have the biggest chance of actually being like deplatformed.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I want you to talk about that, but then also talk about, let's say, social media, because that's the other thing. So I love social media. Like I wouldn't be able to connect with you all initially if it wasn't for like YouTube, right? Or Facebook or something like that. But
Mhm.
then that also has its own risks of, I guess, being deplatformed as well. So talk about then how to leverage like these other two, or the leverage piece you're talking about, and I guess the paid traffic piece, and how do you
Mhm.
turn that into something that you actually own as a business owner, or someone that has some type of audience or prominence?
Well, it starts with what your end game is. So if you say that your end game is to be like an Oprah magazine, you have the wrong focus, right? Oh, being an Oprah magazine or being on Viacom or being on anybody else's platform is a means to the end, right? It's not the thing, like, because that is not going to guarantee you success. So what happens after that? So you start with the end in mind. Is it that you want more sales, and you want more clients? You want people to buy your book? Like, what is it that you're really, really going for? Because that way it becomes, okay, you're using Oprah magazine or whatever platform you're on to get to the sales that you really want, to get those people on your list, to get those people in your audience. And that's what the thinking has to be. And so if you think about it that way, you're now thinking like an entrepreneur, right? You're not just thinking about, like, oh, I just want to get famous. Like, you want to get famous for what? Right? Then what happens was people know you and you don't have anything to offer. Right. And again, you're also thinking about, like, again, your end game, but you're also thinking long term. There's a lot of people who get 15 minutes of fame and they don't know what to do with it. Like, remember that time I was on, like TD Jakes. So remember that time, I was on, like Shark Tank, and that's great. But what did you do with it after? Like, how did you leverage that into something else? Did you use that to boost your credibility? And now that you're credible, you have people's attention to offer them a service or a product? Because otherwise, it's just like being almost like a has been. And that happens all the time. You think about like people who make music, right? And they make music and it's great for like, 3 weeks. It might be great for 30 weeks. But after your record falls off that list, you got to come up with something new. But if you're owning your audience as an entrepreneur and you're maintaining that relationship with them, yes, you may still have to come up with something new to keep it fresh, but you're not relying on, oh, I got to get back on the radio for this. And we've seen that a lot with, entrepreneurs, or not even entrepreneurs, but with people in the music industry now. As music labels have kind of pulled away and they're not funding things so much that they're really looking for people who already have an audience, right? We've seen artists take that into their own hands and they release their products. They're doing it more. And they've kind of taken the platform away from those big audience, those big, bigger platforms, because they wanted to have that control and they realized there was power in that. So we're seeing that model in other places. Now we just have to do that with, like the bigger, media outlets, especially since now that anybody can have a camera, right? You can literally control that more than we used to be able to.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about nuts and bolts of your business in terms of how to make that transition. So
Mhm.
I heard two things, right? So first we have to build the audience, and then we have to have something to keep them interested and sell them and add value to their life with like I guess new product development. So let's take
Yeah.
the audience building first. So you specialize in quiz funnels,
Yeah.
right? So first, can you explain to the audience, for those who don't know, what exactly is a funnel? And then why do you use quiz funnels, or why did you think quiz funnels is the best way for entrepreneurs to build their audience?
Sure. This is one of the things that I love talking about. So, a sales funnel, quiz funnel, whatever kind of funnel it is, the simplest way for me to explain it, Lawrence, is so nobody gets married on the first date, right? Like if somebody was to pop the question to you, it was your first date, you would look at them like they were crazy. You have to have a chance to woo people, to connect with them, to date them, to really get them from, hey, I'm interested in you, to I'm in, I'm committed, let's get the ring, let's do it, right? And that's what a sales funnel is. It's now technically what it is. It might be a landing page. It might be an invitation to invite someone to give their email address. And you've probably, a lot of you have all seen this, right? Where somebody says, I have a free audio, I have a free video, I have a free PDF or a checklist. And you put your name and email address in and you get the free goods. And then they're going to send you some more emails, right? And then those emails are helping you realize the benefit of what they offer, to the point where at some point you're going to buy from them. That's the whole purpose of a sales funnel. So that's how it works. Now, while I love using quizzes is because most, traditional sales funnels, they'll say, well, we'll give you like a webinar or a PDF, and it's one-sided. All I get is an email address and you get the goods. When you do a quiz, I get more information about my audience so that I can then better serve them. I can better sell to them. Like I know that this is a bigger problem. Like if we've got questions in a quiz and they're telling me that these are the top 3 problems that they face, or I'm finding out from the quiz that a lot of the people that I work with, like for example, one of our clients sells eyelashes, right? And what we notice is that her people, they like eyelashes because they like to get glammed up, not just because they're going out to dinner, but in this day and age, they're getting glammed up because they have to be on Zoom, because we're, needing to be on camera more often. So now when we're making our marketing messages, what are we going to talk about? Get glammed up for your next meeting, right? So now that I have all this information, I can now create better marketing messages. I can now find better affiliate products to offer, instead of me just saying, oh, all I got is an email address. You would never marry somebody based on their email address. Right? So we can't do that in our marketing as well. So that's one of the reasons why I love quizzes, and I think they work better a lot than just the traditional PDFs. We still use those other means, but it's one of the tools that I've seen so much success with, because it's not just that one-sided conversation anymore.
Oh, let's just take an example, right? In
Yeah.
regards to, let's say there's a person out here, a business owner, a black business owner who has, let's say, a restaurant, or a new book. Well, we could say a restaurant, right?
Hmm.
Well, I guess that might not be the best example during COVID, but let's say COVID's over, and people are going back eating at restaurants, that type of thing again.
Right.
And they have a good following on social media, right? But they want to take our advice and say, social media is not good enough. Me getting this exposure in my local magazine or my local newspaper isn't good enough. I want to start, having more control over the relationship with my audience.
Mhm.
What would you recommend to them in terms of taking that social media following and turning it into like building their list and the audience that they have and that they have direct relationship with?
Oh, this is so much fun. So now this is totally like off the top of the brain, but when you said that, I started thinking about desserts, right? So you could have a quiz that says, "What dessert are you?" or "What dessert is your love life?" or something like that. Something fun, right? But when people take it, you're asking them questions about, do you have, a family, or is it just date night? Right? Do you like, savory desserts, or do you like sweet desserts? Like, you're asking them all those kinds of questions, and then at the end you're making a recommendation, based on what you said. The recommended dessert for you is, like baked Alaska, or our double fudge brownie, or whatever. Here's a coupon for 20% off the next time you come in. Right? So now you've got this information about them. They're not family, they're just really looking to go out for date night. They really like sweet over savory. They love chocolate, right? And they don't come in, they don't want to go out that often, right? So now that you know that, guess what you're going to do in your marketing? Hey, guess what? Next month is National Chocolate Month. Here's another coupon. Come back in. Oh, you came in last month. Here's something else. But now you're getting to have this really, really deeper connection with them, rather than just, here's everything on our menu. Come in, right? Because now you're talking to me about what I like, right? Who doesn't want things to be personalized to them? And so that's what you could do for a restaurant. You're personalizing the experience, you're personalizing the offer, and you're getting people's attention because you're talking to them. It's that radio station of WIIFM, what's in it for me, right?
Yep, yep. Yeah, no, I think that's amazing, and I think that you're right about that. So you mentioned things like offer. You don't even have to come up with a new product. You just gave the audience, I guess, a targeted offer based on what they said in the quiz funnel, and you've also collected their information, so you can segment. And anytime you have something new for that particular audience, you can always email them specifically, let's say, with some type of coupon or something to generate that revenue that would be necessary
Absolutely.
for your business to be self-sustaining.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even create like new things. So, for example, let's say you had a number of people that took the quiz and you found out they were single and they love chocolate. So, let's say you decide to host an event that's a wine and chocolate event for singles. Why? Because the people that have taken the quiz, they're in your audience. So now you're using that to figure out what could you create to now bring even more people in. But you're not just offering like a coupon or just like the run of the mill, hey, we're having special, or hey, it's your birthday. You're offering something that's above and beyond what the traditional folks are doing out there. And so now it positions you as, oh, I want to be a part of that place. Or yeah, I wonder what they're going to do next. And that's how you create the buzz. That's how you serve your audience. And that is how you stand out among all the other restaurants that are out there.
I love it. I love it, Ty. So, as a reminder, everyone, I'm here with Tai Goodwin. Ty is the founder and CEO of the Momentum Agency, a marketing agency that specializes in sales funnels and quiz funnels. You can find out more about her business at profitmomentum.com. That is profitmomentum.com. And today, we initially started talking about how Black celebrities can keep from being canceled, but now we've, I guess, switched the conversation over to, I guess, Black businesses as well, because it's all the same. It's all the exact same thing, right? And that thing is the ability to own your or have a direct relationship with your audience, so own, I guess, the control of your audience, and then also the control of your platform, and being able to also monetize as well. Because what good is a huge email list, or just a customer database if you don't know how to sell to them and make it self-sustaining? Because I bet you even a lot of these celebrities already have pretty large lists that might have moved outside of I guess Facebook, or Twitter or Instagram, that type of thing, but they haven't created that back end engine to help monetize even more so. So that's what we're talking about
Yeah.
today, and I'm loving this conversation. So Ty, can you let's just get into your business a little bit and talk about what you have to offer with profit momentum that our audience can take advantage of.
Oh, well, great. And thank you for that. So, we used to just do done for you, right? And literally our done for you was like, you come to us, we would set everything up for you, the whole automation, the integration, writing your copy. And then we realized that some of our clients want done with you. Like they really want us to teach them how to do it so that they can then do it over and over and over again, like with their team. And so we've kind of morphed into doing both. And so when we say that we are a marketing agency, we literally are focused on helping people generate leads. Like I said, a lot of our clients, they don't have a pricing problem. They don't even have a product problem, but what they do struggle with is distribution. How can you get in front of more people? If you can't generate leads, you don't have anybody to sell to. Right. And if you can't sell, then you are not making money. One of my favorite lines, and I say this all the time, I was Facebook rich and profit poor for the first 5 years of my business. Right. People were loving my Facebook stuff. They were sharing it, they were commenting, it was
Mm-hmm.
great, but they weren't buying. And I really had to spend some time learning, how do I convert people from just liking my stuff, liking and following me on Instagram and on Facebook and on Twitter? How do I convert that into people who are actually paying? And so that's what we do. We want to help you generate those leads so you can make more sales and you can make more profit.
So man, that can go deep. Whew. Yeah. Because Facebook rich but profit poor, right?
Yeah, well, we get excited, right? We get excited
Uh-huh.
when, oh, my video got 260, 860, 5,000 likes, and that is fantastic. But how many of those people that liked it are actually your ideal client and going to buy from you, right?
Mhm.
So you can be a celebrity, but again, it's that end game. Is that what you really wanted? Did you just really want to be a celebrity and be known? Or did you want to monetize? And that goes back to like what I said at the very beginning, monetized with a D. Like Facebook can monetize you because they're generating, they're generating more likes and they're getting more data for the people who are paying to advertise. But if you don't have anything to offer or sell, how are you really, really profiting from that? And you're not.
Well, talk about that then. How did you make that transition from being Facebook rich to actually making money for your business?
I had to niche down and I had to really set some boundaries around who I would work with. So when we, talk, I used to do coaching before I started doing the whole agency side of things. And a lot of time I spent with my clients was helping them understand what it takes to actually build a business. And this would help people who have that celebrity too, where they're just thinking about, I want to be known, but no, it's more than that. You want to take your experience and expertise. So like, the Nick Cannons and the Tamar Braxton, they can take their experience and expertise, but now they can apply it to a problem that people have. Right. And then you want to find people who are willing and able to pay you to solve that problem. That's what a business is. Businesses solve problems, even if the problem is that you're bored, right? Even if the problem is that you need to be motivated and inspired, right? That's still a problem that you're solving. And so that's what I did. My skill and my experience, I used to work for lead pages. I spent a number of years in corporate America. My background is as an instructional designer. So I have a master's degree in instructional design for online learning, building courses, right? And so I took that experience and expertise and I started taking a look at the problems my customers were having. They didn't know how to put the technology and tools together. Like it was overwhelming. And I know probably a lot of your audience, like they know they need a list, they know they need a marketing plan, but it's so much easier to just post something on Facebook every now and then. But they're also not getting the sales they want. And so I said, I'm going to solve that problem by creating this agency. But then I had to spend the time finding people who were willing and able to pay me. All the people that liked me on Facebook were not willing and able to pay me. And that's when I had to say no. And especially, for those of us like our Black folks, right? We really, really have to understand that there is a different way of serving than giving everything away for cheap, right? Like we don't always want to be the borrowers and get really excited when somebody else gives us. And that's why I think people get in trouble with that platform thing, because like, oh, they're going to give us this. No, they don't have to give you anything. You can have clients that will pay you enough money where you can create your own, right? And then you're opening the door for other people. How about we create the platform and build it, and then we can open those doors for other people? But that's what I've been able to do in my business is like, I still give, right? And there was a time when I was a coach where every fifth person like that I've had that was a paid client, I would go back to somebody who couldn't afford to work with me and I would give them 1 hour. So I was still giving, but I wasn't serving in my business and being broke. And then I couldn't really help anybody because I'm stressed out. I can't pay my bills. Like, I'm like, do I need to get a job? Like, I'm doing all of that. I had to really start thinking like an entrepreneur. No, I'm going to build this. I'm going to find people who are willing and able to pay me. And I'll find other ways to give back. If I'm bringing in $50,000 a month, I can find a way to give a $5,000 scholarship. But if I'm only bringing in like $5,000 a month, who's going to help me?
Right.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
So that was the really, really big shift that really helped me start thinking about my business a different way, thinking about building generational wealth, thinking about how can I give back and serve more. And that's, one of the things that I hope your audience takes away. Let's think a lot bigger, right? Let's own the platforms. Let's really own those relationships with our audience and not be so dependent on those other platforms that we don't own, that will control our message and that will cancel us if we step out of line.
Yeah, man. Ty, I always love talking to you. You drop so much knowledge. And then make sure you guys like this video. Please show Ty some love and let YouTube's algorithm show us some love too, so more and more people can see this interview, and share and subscribe as well. And before we get out of here, Ty, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and post them in chat. So we'll be on for next probably like 3 or 4 minutes before we end today's call. But I just have a few rapid fire questions that I want to ask you before we get out of here.
Sure, let's do it.
All right, all right. Actually, before the rapid fire questions, how can people get in touch with you?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. So we've got a group on Facebook, right? So it's called Cart Queens because we are focused on people who are e-commerce entrepreneurs, and we're also focused on people who are selling courses and selling their products and services online. However, the best thing to do is go to profitmomentum.com. That's the site that I own, right? That's the space that I own. And whether you go there or whether you go to the Facebook group, there's going to be an opportunity for you to opt into a list. And we're going to give you something. Like right now, we have a framework for a sales funnel, right? It's our funnels done right framework. You can get it on my website. You can get it in Facebook, but grab a copy of that because that breaks down this whole sales funnel thing that I started talking about. It breaks that down, but then you'll also be on my list, which is not dependent on a platform, right? Because I own that connection and I own that relationship with you. So that's the best way to get in touch.
Okay, perfect. So please make sure you check out Ty. She's one of the most intelligent people that I know, especially as it relates to building sales funnels, and
Thank
specifically
you.
quiz funnels. So that's her, specialty. But if you're looking basically to get more traffic, that you have direct access to instead of relying on the YouTubes or the Facebooks or the Twitters or the Instagrams of the world, then Ty is a great person to talk to build that next phase of your business, because you need to build that phase in order for your business to be sustainable. You can be successful, right? You can be successful, you can be, great, that type of thing, but you can't really be independent if you're relying on these other platforms to provide all your traffic for you over the
Yeah.
long term as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So first question, rapid fire.
Okay.
What's your favorite business book?
Oh gosh, there's so many. Essentialism was one of my favorites. Profit First was another one of my favorites. And I'll be real honest, the book that changed my life was Barbara Stanny's Secrets of Six-Figure Women.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Okay.
she said most women don't make six figures only because they don't think about it, and totally
Mm-hmm.
changed my whole perspective.
Got you. No, great book choices. My second question is: are there any CEOs or, I guess, business leaders that you're following right now to help take you to the next phase of your business?
Of course, I'm following Lamar Tyler and Ronnie Tyler of Traffic Sales and Profit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're both of
Yeah.
course, in TSP Mastermind. So,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, we follow them. In
Uh-huh.
any others?
Let's see. Um, well, Mike Michalowicz, who wrote Profit First, like I follow him, online a lot. And I always watch what Oprah does. I watch her moves. I just really admire her vision. You know, I don't see, you don't see it that much. But then I just follow a lot of things in Black enterprise. Alfred Edmonds, I follow him. I watch what he does. I love that as well. So those are some of the people that I follow.
Who's your favorite historical figure from Black history?
Oh, good question. Maya Angelou. She's the first person that popped in my mind. So wise, so gracious, but what a history, like from entertainer to poet to just sister, you know? So yeah, she would be somebody that I just admired. Yeah.
How many hours of sleep do you get at night?
Oh, not enough is what probably my family would say. I am maybe about 6 hours of sleep is what I
That's not
get.
bad. That's not too bad.
It's not bad, but I take naps, you know.
I
So
take naps every day. I take a nap every day, and
see, there
Boyce
you
does
go.
too. So I don't want to put him on the spot, but the Watkins family takes naps every single day, y'all. So
There
don't get
you
it
go.
twisted. And my last question is, so I know your age. I ain't gonna be say your age since you're friends with or you went to high school Al Duncan. Al's my the co-founder of Black Experts Empire with me, and
Uh-huh.
yeah. So, but um, what would you go back and tell? So, like, if you can go back, what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
Oh wow, that's a deep question, Lawrence. What would I tell her? I would tell her that it's going to be so much fun. I think, all of us, I was a first generation college, kid, and I remember just having so much anxiety. Am I making the right decisions? Am I making the right choices? Oh my gosh, I don't want to make a mistake. And I would just say relax and have fun, because all those things that I thought I had to have planned and answered, the answers totally changed. Like I was in college, I switched from fashion design to being an accountant major, hated working at IBM, realized that wasn't for me, to actually being a teacher and educator. And I am so far from that right now. I mean, I still teach, but I'm not in the classroom, right? And all those things I was so worried about making a mistake about ended up changing, and my life is so much better for it. So just relax and have fun.
Wonderful, wonderful. So thanks so much, Ty. Thank you. Rhonda said, tell Alice said hello. I definitely will. So Rhonda stated, hello, Lawrence. Thank you for your observation and ability to connect the right strategic resources available and necessary for entrepreneurs to scale. Avis also said, good information. Thank you both. And, thanks to everyone who is watching. So before you get out of here, please make sure you press the thumbs up button and show Ty and the Black Financial Channel some love. Please make sure you head over to the Black Business School .com. That's the Black Business School. If you would like to learn and receive, hardcore education as it relates to all things Black wealth building regarding entrepreneurship, stock market investing, as well as real estate investing as well. And if you guys will want to see some type of master class or master lecture of Ty in the Black Business School, please make sure you leave a comment on our page whenever you decide to watch this video. And the people who are watching right now, just let us know, and we'll do our best to actually make it happen. So on behalf of Tai Goodwin, my name is Lawrence Watkins. You all take care, be blessed, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.